Morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Tzedakah, Geula, Hashem should bring a Geula to all the Yidden, and all the hostages should come home. All soldiers should come safe, especially Yosef Yitzchak and Simcha. And this Shiur is learning, besides for all the hostages, we're going to focus on Shachak ben Merav. The mitzvah Hashem, Shachak ben Merav, should be safe, healthy, and come back very soon. To all the efforts that we put in our learning and our applying what we're learning, should win the battle. Okay, we're going to finish off. While we're doing Maamar, when Maamar Vav, we're going to finish off Perek base. Maybe start the beginning Perek Gimel. So we're talking about how because Malchus comes down into this world to create a world, and it's becomes so separate from Hashem, so then it becomes very thirsty. And even more, that it comes down to the extent that it knows that it's going to start having to even supply, even give the ability of Klippa, meaning before it came down, it was with God. And that was perfect, pristine, everything is good. And suddenly it has to come down and create a world to the extent that the world can see itself separated from Hashem. And we can do things that are against what Hashem wants. So he didn't really want to do this. But it came down, it has to, this is part of his job. Like we said before, also ultimately when we do make the right decision and we overcome the trial and tribulations, it's an amazing feat. But that's what we're saying. Now let's go back to explaining. We said, how is it possible the person's gonna bless himself in his heart, saying, Shalom Yeli, it's gonna be good for me. I'll get the best of both worlds. So now we're going to discuss the Seder. Rava, page 105 in the green Kuntres. Rava satiated. That's Nikra Masha Reitz Elamalis Tavasai. The Seder, and he wants to fulfill the Taivas Hagashmius. Vein Loi Ratza and Mitzimar in Lukus. It doesn't have a desire for Lukus. It's satiated, it's good. In this physical world, it doesn't have that desire to get close to godliness. Its main desire is physical things. And that's how it satisfies, satiates its thirst. Meaning, Nashvahamas is thirst, it wants physicality. And so there's two reasons. One is because its desires for Gashmius and it's in a physical world. And the second reason is because it's always there. We live in the physical world. And everywhere you turn, there's an opportunity to take from the Gashmius. In comparison to using the Gashmius out for Ruchnius for holier purpose, that's much more of a difficult challenge. Why is this so? Because but the Nefesh Elikis is sort of the awkward person in the room. He wants godliness. And it doesn't get satiated, doesn't get fulfilled its desire for Gashmis. And this is why, I'll just finish it off. It wants godliness. This is why if you ever notice, this is one thing that if you get this, you're like, it's a big light bulb turns on, that when you're feeling down or something, so what do? We try to fulfill this desire, this issue, whatever it is, whatever we're feeling, by something gashmi. You got to get ice cream, or you got to do something, watch something, go on your phone, distract yourself with gaseous things. But the problem is, you don't satiate the issue. And therefore, even after you do that, you're not fulfilled. It's like I remember I had this discussion a while ago with my kids, that try to explain to them this point, that your issue that you're having is connected with your Nefesh Elikis, and you're trying to satisfy it with your Nefesh Bahamas. It's like he wanted to go play, and I could tell that he wanted to play to sort of run away from dealing with this uncomfortable feeling. And I said to him, listen, you can go play, but you got to realize if you don't feed your nefesh kiss, because that's the issue was. I could tell. I said, if you don't feed your nefesh kiss, when you finish playing, you're going to go back to the issue. The issue's not going to go away. And that's what he's saying here. The desire of nefesh kiss is for ruchnis, it's for godliness. So you can't fulfill that desire by doing something gashmi. What will happen is for that time period of the gashmi, it's like it happened to my son. The time that he played was fun. But first of all, I could tell that it wasn't coming from a holy place, like a kedushitic place. So the way he played wasn't as good. And also when he finished, he was back to the same issue. And that's sort of the same thing. When we go, we distract ourselves by going on our phone. So for that time period, it's enjoyable and you get all the dopamine or whatever happens to you when you're on your phone and you're looking and whatever it is. But when you're finished, you're back at square one because you're not satiating the desire of the nefesh kiss. The nefesh kiss is down here and it's thirsty. The time in here, and it's always thirsty. But the nefesh kiss is not revealed. It doesn't have that ability to reveal itself and to really connect with itself. Of course, unless we connect with, we do Torah mitzvahs. But being in the physical world, it's not its natural place, it's not natural habitat, it's not where it feeds itself. But it's only in a way of knowing of the mitzias. Not the grasping of the essence. Meaning like this, it's a famous Chassidus. There's ideas of mitzias and asagas likus, asagas mahus. Meaning, it's like the story that there was a chassid that got stuck in town, a Maslangisha town back in the day, and he was there for Shabbos. So he came there and they treated him respectfully. And when Shabbos was over, so the Masnagdim were escorting him out. So one of the guys that took him out, he said, "No, so how was Shabbos?" By the Masnagdim, how'd you feel? So he said, "Oh, it was beautiful. I really enjoyed. I had a very good time." So Masnagid was very cool. Like he had a good time. The Chas had a good time with Masnagid. Beautiful. We're so good. And so keep on walking a little bit, and as he's escorting him out, and the Chas and the Masnagid is thinking to himself, especially in those days, the Chassidim were sharp, were very sharp. He's like, it doesn't make sense. He's being so nice to me. Something's up with him. So he said to him, "Well, what exactly did you mean by it's such a good Shabbos?" He goes, the whole Shabbos, you guys are talking about Hashem. It was beautiful. It's like, oh, right, see, okay, yeah, look, we're good. We're talking about Hashem, yeah. And so he departs ways with the chassid goes off. And he thinks to himself, he goes, a chassid, something doesn't make any sense. So he runs after him and he says, "Can you explain what you meant by that?" So he said, yeah. He goes, by chassidim, we're always talking about ourselves. Why? Because God exists, we know, that's obvious. The question is, do we exist? He goes, by you know that you exist. So your whole discussion is, does God actually exist? And this is the difference in Midias and Metzius and Asagas and Mahus. Midias and Metzius is knowing that there's a God. Yeah, there's a God. I know there's a concept called God. But Hasagas and Mahus is not that I technically know God in an abstract, theoretical way, but I know God. It's like when Alter Rebbe, when he came to Mizrich, when he came back and his father-in-law was Misnagid, he said, "No, so what did you gain? You went to I forgot what it's called now. You went to the Magid. So what did you gain?" So he goes, that he goes, "I learned that God exists." So he goes, "You went there to learn God exists?" Like, because even the maid knows that God exists. There's a simple lady, the girl, whatever. And they called her over, "Does God exist?" Yeah, God exists. She goes, "What's the difference?" He goes, Alter said, he goes, she thinks God exists. He goes, "I know God exists." And this is what we're saying. So, but in this world, even though now you could say the Rebbe changed this a little bit, but practically speaking, you look around, minus the Rebbe's chiddush to things, You look around, you don't see Elikus. Elikus is an idea in the books, and the world is the world. And that's what we're saying here. But lots of love until Mashiach comes, your teacher will no more be hidden. Shaz that then when Mashiach comes, will be revealed the essence, and you'll see godliness. You'll see it in a really very real tangible way. And you could say we're living in Mashiach's time, so we're very close to that, and you see it in certain ways. If you told people, it's like my kids. I always laugh when they get something from Amazon, and like, when is it coming? Is it coming tomorrow? It's like, no, it's coming like 2-3 days. So long. It's like, you don't understand what we live like. So we're very much in Mashiach's times, and it's very much easier to see. And also like the fact that you have the internet, you're able to tap into so many people. The amount of people that, Gordon's Shiurim on Chitas and Rambam, they say it's the biggest share. I don't know how many people actually watch it, but I'm sure it's close to, hundreds of thousands. Like that didn't exist 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever, just before the internet. That idea didn't happen. And therefore the nefesh elokis by nature, it's not in its comfort zone, because its nature is godliness, and he lives in a world that has no godliness. The godliness is not revealed. It doesn't have no, but godliness is not revealed. So therefore it's always thirsty. And therefore when you do Torah mitzvahs and you're revealing godliness, that's what's helping the nefesh elokis. Nefesh bahamis. But the nefesh bahamis cheshka v'tzimoina ledvam gashmim. Nefesh bahamis is desire also gashmis, and this is sort of, it's very interesting. I'm thinking about this. That this is sort of what's the dynamic going on inside of us, because when we go for gashmis and satiates us, it feels good for whatever time period that we're eating it or having it. Is what we're doing is because the nefesh bahamis is being satiated. But how come it doesn't last long? Doesn't continue. Why is it not that it's like my kids when they play a whole day, like they get up a day from school and they get to play. I said, you get to play the whole day, satisfy the desire to play. And what happens when the day's finished? They're not finished. They still need more. They didn't finish it. So why is that? The nefesh bahamis, he got satiated. And the answer is, it seems to me what we're saying here is because you always have a nefesh elokis. And even though you feed the nefesh bahamis got as much as it wants, but the nefesh elokis is always there and always saying, hey, but like this is not what I want. So yeah, you can take care of it, of your nefesh bahamis, but you still have a nefesh elokis, and it's always going to need to be satiated, to give it its food. And how does it satiate its thirst of nefesh bahamis? Because it's all there. It's in the physical world, and there's so many options of feeding its desire. Like it says in Masechta Shabbos, Leis atir mechazira. There's no one richer than the swine and than the pig. Why? The fish but it eats the leftovers, the food waste. So it's always food available. And therefore its food is always prepared in front of it. Talmid ubenakal lahasig mevukasha, and it can always get what it wants. It's very easy, it's like a rat in New York. There's plenty of food going around. And this is the nefesh of bahamis. V'tavasai, and its desire, and it can fulfill all its desires. So with the physical pleasures. That it's known that this pseilus, this byproduct is coming ultimately from elikus. And therefore it's very easy to get it. And that's how it satiates its thirst. And that's why the nefesh bahamis is called sated, because it always has the ability to satiate itself with what's around. But ultimately it doesn't work for us because we have a nefesh elokis. And nefesh elokis is always thirsty. Kitzer. And what we're pointing out here is not just it's thirsty, it's in the wrong environment. So it's very hard for it. Kitzur, the summary. Spheres Hamalchus, the sphere of Malchus, Biridasa, when it's descend into the lower three worlds, and is Gaber Timoina, it makes it thirstier, has more of a desire to go back up. And to be included back into its source. I want to go home. That's what it's saying. That's what we're saying here. And neshama is l'mayla heim b'tachas haruchdis. Neshama above is an ultimate spirituality. Umushlalal gam yedia muskalos amukim musvarim begeshem. And it's even way above, beyond even the deepest ideas, but physical ideas. It's way above, beyond that. Even the deepest idea that Elon Musk or whatever it is, the smartest person in the world, can think of in reality of a nefesh lekis, that's physical. It's two separate things. Even though from us, it's like very high, very deep, very profound. And like the nefesh, like we said before in the beginning, that intellect is the highest. But in comparison to Gali intellect, the nefesh lekis and Torah, it's very distant. When it comes down to a body, when the nefesh lekis goes down into a body, he shayech the yeshus. It has a shaychus, has a relationship to yeshus. Yachel is gael to a feeling of separateness, and it can be to be corrupted. So and that makes it even thirstier, because it goes from a pure pristine place, it comes down to a place that's totally opposite of its natural environment. But the nefesh bahamis, shikare chumius nikarava. Nefesh bahamis, this is its home. It's called sated. So we have to, Mitzvah Hashem, recognize that we have to take care of our nefesh lekis. And even though nefesh bahamis can be satiated very easily because it lives in this physical world, but if we can give our nefesh, we can recognize that it doesn't help us ultimately because of our nefesh lekis, and Mitzvah Hashem will help nefesh lekis fulfill its desire. Have an amazing day.